Okay, let's just dive right into this. In this explainer, we are going to unpack the high stakes, honestly, intensely rigorous world of legal ethics in South Africa. Because, well, if you thought passing the bar was the hardest part of being a legal practitioner, yeah, think again. Today, we're mapping out the Legal Practice Council, or LPC, Code of Conduct. This is the ultimate rulebook governing attorneys and advocates, and it holds them to a standard of honesty that goes way, way beyond what's expected of your average citizen. Your integrity is non-negotiable. I really want you to keep this phrase front and center in your mind as we go through this explainer. Being an attorney or an advocate in South Africa isn't just a day job where you clock in, do your hours, and clock out. It's a fundamental identity. The core philosophy of the LPC is that your character absolutely must be bulletproof, because if this core philosophy is broken, the consequences are incredibly severe. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist here. You literally lose your livelihood. So here's our structural roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the 24/7 integrity standard, your paramount duty to the court, trust and money, colleagues and society, private life ethics, and finally, the golden ethical boundary. And as you'll see, we're moving down a priority ladder that honestly might surprise you. Section 1. The 24/7 integrity standard. The foundation of the LPC Code of Conduct is simply this. The rules literally never sleep. Becoming a legal practitioner demands a significantly higher standard of behavior from you. Think about it. The LPC rules apply to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if you're standing in a courtroom wearing your robes, sitting at your corporate desk, or just hanging out on a Saturday night. Yes, even at 2 a.m. If you behave dishonorably in public, you can be struck off the roll of attorneys. You lose your right to practice law. The stakes are really that high. Moving to Section 2, Paramount Duty, the Court. And honestly, this is where the biggest twist comes in. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast. Pop culture loves to show the lawyer doing absolutely anything to win, right? But the reality, the client is actually not number one. As an officer of the court, your absolute paramount duty is to the administration of justice. Your duty to your client is strictly secondary. You can never, ever prioritize your client's victory over the truth or the integrity of the legal system itself. This translates to absolute, unflinching honesty in practice. You may never lie to a judge or a magistrate. You can't mislead the court, and you absolutely cannot present evidence that you know is fabricated. But here's the most fascinating part of all this. No hiding the law. Imagine you're researching and you find a past court judgment that completely ruins your client's case. It just destroys your entire argument. Well, even if the opposing lawyer completely forgets to mention it, you are ethically required to hand that judgment over to the judge yourself. Sure, you can try to argue why it shouldn't apply to your specific situation, but you cannot hide it. Your duty to the court demands you put the law first. Section 3. Trust, money, and clients. So even though the client is technically second to the court, your relationship with them is still built on supreme trust. Confidentiality is basically sacred. Because of legal privilege, whatever your client tells you in confidence stays with you. You cannot reveal their secrets to the police, the court, or even your own family. The only exception, if they tell you they're about to commit a future crime. You're also strictly forbidden from having any conflicts of interest, so you can't represent a client if it clashes with your own financial interests or, obviously, if you already represent the very person they're trying to sue. But let's talk about the single fastest way to end a legal career: breaking the accounting duty. Let me walk you through a very dark but very real mini-story of how this plays out. Step 1. A client deposits money, say a massive road accident fund payout, that's specifically meant for their medical bills. Step 2. The lawyer decides to put that money into their general business account instead of a dedicated, highly regulated trust account, maybe just borrowing it to pay office rent for a month. Step 3. That lawyer is struck off the roll and sent straight to jail. It's that simple. Client money must be kept completely separate. Stealing from the trust account is the ultimate betrayal of the profession.
Section 4. Colleagues, staff, and society. Let's look at the wider legal ecosystem.
Litigation is a battlefield, and you know it gets incredibly heated. But professional courtesy is a strict rule here. Promising an extension to an opposing attorney, your word is your bond. You have to honor it. Thinking of contacting the opposing client directly to just settle things quickly? Don't do it. You never go behind a colleague's back. You've got to maintain professional dignity, so no insulting or highly abusive tactics. And beyond colleagues, you owe a massive duty to your staff. Are you managing your firm professionally, providing a harassment-free environment, properly training candidate legal practitioners doing their articles? You absolutely must. And lastly, you owe a duty to society itself. You maintain public trust by charging reasonable fees, no price gouging, and by giving back through mandatory pro bono work, providing free legal services for those who just can't afford them. Section 5. Your private extra professional life. Remember that 24/7 rule we started with? And this brilliantly illustrates that point. This is the twist that catches so many practitioners completely off guard. The LPC rules explicitly state you must maintain integrity extra professionally. That means outside of work. The rules don't just magically stop when you take off the corporate suit. Because you represent the legal profession as a whole, serious personal misconduct completely off the clock can prove that you are no longer a fit and proper person to practice law. So what does that look like? Well, if you commit fraud, theft, or assault in your personal capacity, you will face the council. If you're caught driving recklessly or under the influence, you're risking your entire career. And in today's digital age, if you go viral on social media for hate speech, racist remarks, or highly abusive comments, boom, your career as an attorney or advocate can be instantly destroyed. You are always, always a representative of the law, even when you're just scrolling on your personal smartphone. Which brings us to Section 6, the golden ethical boundary. Consider this matrix your ultimate cheat sheet. It beautifully summarizes the stark contrast between the core rule and what a breach actually looks like across your 4 main spheres. When dealing with the court, the rule is to never mislead. What does a breach look like? Knowingly letting your client lie under oath while you're standing there asking the questions. When handling the client, you protect their secrets and their money. A breach happens the very second you roll client trust money into your business account to pay off his rent. For colleagues, you maintain professional civility. A breach means insulting an opposing attorney or sneaking behind their back to talk to their client directly. And finally, regarding your private life, you stay a fit and proper person 24/7. A breach? Brawling in public, or running some kind of online scam in your spare time. So what does this all mean? Well, it brings us to our final, ultimate litmus test. If you are ever looking at an ethical problem, whether you're a law student cramming for exams or a seasoned practitioner facing a really tough choice, ask yourself this one absolutely crucial question. Does this action harm the integrity of the profession or mislead the administration of justice? If the answer is yes, you are breaching the LPC Code of Conduct. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a lingering thought. When your entire job is to defend the law, can you ever truly take off the badge? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into legal ethics. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.